Hello everyone, today we will talk about transiting Saturn. Transiting Saturn is passing through the 7th house. How transiting Saturn will behave in the 7th house depends on the position of the 7th house. This transit may be more prominent in your life if you already have planets in the 7th house or aspects to the owner of the 7th house. But the basics are as follows. When transiting Saturn passes through the 7th house, the need for security and achievement affects your one-on-one relationships. This is when you will begin to question or be forced to confront the nature and quality of your relationships with the people in your life. Tensions in a marriage or other partnership then arise because you have begun to see things as they really are, and it is very likely that you will be disappointed with your partner and will cut ties that are not healthy or satisfying. This transit brings a lesson about understanding yourself in the area of close relationships. At first, feelings of frustration and isolation arise due to a realistic view. Such a way of thinking will affect you even if you are single. If you are in an existing romantic relationship, expect events that will teach you to compromise if possible. If compromises are not possible, the likelihood of leaving the relationship is very high. If it is possible for compromises to be established, then you will think about the depth and commitment in that relationship. The focus is now on all your partner relationships. When the relationship is stable and compromises are established, there is an increase in responsibility in the relationship through marriage, and in business partnerships through other associations that will very importantly stabilize your relationships. Saturn will then set this transit as a wonderful period for professional associations and all public relations in organizations. People who are not in a partner relationship, if they start a relationship during this period, it is very likely that it will be a karmic relationship with an older or much younger person, who is more mature and consolidated. Another name for this transit, which affects us 2 times in our lives, is spring cleaning in areas of life that are touched by one-on-one relationships. Although the initial frustration takes the form of a feeling of criticism and questioning of every poorly placed brick in the relationship, the end of the transit brings a lot of commitment, compromise, but also isolation due to intense evaluations and restructuring. In the feeling of isolation, Saturn's influence acts very coldly, mainly affecting people who are in very long and bad relationships. Then individuals feel the distance between them and their partner growing, which requires a conscious effort to bridge the gap and reconnect with someone on a deeper level. Either way, if you are feeling this way, you will at least want to retire from relationships for a while, which is a minimum of 2.5 years. As we have already mentioned, during Saturn's transit through your 7th house, you will feel compelled to experience your true essence through partnerships. Such relationships become central to this period. Although often challenging, it is full of opportunities for personal and relational growth, with the goal of solidifying partnerships that are built to last, where Saturn's energies demand authenticity and commitment. While some relationships will indeed crumble under the strain, their ending will pave the way for deeper self-awareness and future relationships that are more aligned with your true self. All of your new relationships will now be tested, as Saturn makes you more aware of your needs, limitations, and responsibilities in a relationship, and whether you are up to the task. You will likely take your relationships more seriously, and if you have been taking others for granted or a new relationship is not giving you what you need, confronting that immediately comes into play. Saturn simply brings you down to earth and forces you to take responsibility for practicality and reality in your relationships. In general, you will focus on quality rather than quantity in your relationships. If you are surrounded by a lot of superficial partnerships and one-on-one relationships that do not bring anything progressive to your life, you will crave change and clean up. By the end of this transit, you should learn to see people as individuals with different personalities, abilities that contribute something to you, and you will improve your relationships with these people. The negative side of this transit is that the exact opposite happens. You enter into a marriage or business partnership because you are forced to get married or sign a loveless contract due to some responsibility, for example, getting pregnant without wanting to or being in debt and behind schedule. Singles will also feel the pressures of Saturn transiting the 7th house. You will see the feeling of loneliness as limited or constrained, which will reflect the fears that exist within you, so the single person will think about the commitment of recommitment. The key things about this transit depend on the person's age and life circumstances, whether the person has previously had marriages and long-term relationships, and what partnerships they have participated in so far. This period offers a unique opportunity to learn about compromise and negotiation, not only as a means of maintaining peace but also as a path to deepening understanding and mutual growth. Therefore, patience will be a valuable ally in both relationships and in the legal process if you are involved in it. Legal processes will either be postponed or returned to the beginning of the trial in order to analyze new evidence, and to look at the complete situation from other angles. You will also have less time for social relationships, because you will be focused on what is most important in life, what requires attention and strengthening now, and that is you. If you feel the need to withdraw for a while to understand what you need, Saturn will encourage you to balance your need for independence with the needs of others. Then you will more clearly define yourself as an individual, remain true to yourself, and still be in a partnership if it is flexible enough and allows both partners to grow. Either way, the period itself is very challenging, full of opportunities for personal and relational growth, with the aim of strengthening partnerships that are built to last. It's time to embrace patience, put in the hard work, and build a stronger foundation for your relationships. Saturn's lessons are difficult but invaluable for your personal and spiritual growth.